on them. He said because they thought they were switching over. They were simply trying to broaden, their spectrum, their area of singing. They had just kind of conquered, quartet. So they were trying to go in some other areas, and people took it as though they were betraying their roots. And they got a lot of criticism from that. So he just said, don't be afraid to step out, and go in some other areas of music, as long as you maintain your roots and the foundation of what you're singing about, which is Christ. And he taught us that. He said rehearsal is very important. He said rest is very important. He said you can't get out there and sing and then want to go and run around all the rest of the night. Then you got a concert you got to go to in an hour or two. So get your rest. And so those are just some of the things that he encouraged us and talked to us about doing.
Amen. So what are some of the challenges now that Endurance may be seeing, when it comes down to quartet? Because, some people are accepting it and some people aren't. And then you have quartet that's really bickering among themselves. So where do you see Endurance at in this?
Okay. Well, what we do here in Houston, Ms. Bowden, is I have something that Endurance is working with me on called the Texas Quartet Roundup. That is an organization that we've put together here in Texas and out of Houston that we gather. We have classes. We have classes on teaching groups how to prepare, to how to perform on stage, the do's and the don'ts. We teach them about recording, the terminology used in recording, like, what the difference is in an engineer and a producer. We talk about what mixing means, what mastering means, what you look for when you mix the record, and when you what it's supposed to sound like. We talk about then publishing. We talk about all the paperwork involved in music, in the music industry. We have those classes every month here in Houston with the groups here in Houston, and we invite, of course, all the groups. And then what we do, once we all are on one accord, with knowledge and understanding the knowledge of the business and the ministry of it all, what's expected of us from the God as well as from the industry, then we take a few groups on the road. And we try to go to every city that we can in the state of Texas at least once a month. And we're just going to keep that going. But we don't even go out there in a package right now until everybody has been trained and they're all on one accord. So that's what we're doing for Houston. Now, nationally, I do see and hear a lot of the bickering. And I think a lot of this has come from, first of all, everybody, I can't say everybody, but some of them are forgetting what we're supposed to be doing. This is a ministry, but it has turned so much into a business because we want to be like some of the contemporary artists are, making a lot of money, being famous, and all this type of thing. And we've forgotten a little bit about the ministry part of what we do. And so when you become a professional singer, then that's what you are. This becomes your profession. And when it becomes your profession, then that means all you want to do is make money. When this music industry, to me, well, especially the quartet, it was never really designed to pay our bills, to buy us homes, and to buy new cars and all that kind of stuff. It was a ministry, and God, of course, blessed some groups where they were able to live off of it. But what happens with groups that I see now, everybody want to be famous. Everybody want to be number one. There's really no unity. There's hardly any love between us anymore. And because of that, it's causing a rift. The Bible teaches us that together we stand, divided we fall. A house divided cannot stand. And that's what I see.
So true, so true. And I do agree with that. I mean, that's how I see it, too. I think we forget about the ministry part, and we just automatically assume that because we're singing about God or, even if we just fill up a building, we automatically assume that we're supposed to have this and that. without even, recognizing God in it all. And you can get lost. You get lost in it.
Yeah.
So I appreciate your honesty on that part. And so y'all's album, I listened to the entire thing. I was like, wow, this is definitely, it's a mix between traditional and new school. It's a mix because you kind of just, you get a little bit of everything in there where you can just relax in the Lord. If you want to get up and pep your step, you can pep in the Lord. If you want to just sit there and think about some things and find a solution, you can get in those songs that y'all have. So who did most of the writing on this album?
Well, it's a mixture of artists. Well, like, Spanky Williams of Darrell McFadden. No, he's written all of the CDs and produced them all except this one. And I think one more. But he's always written all of the songs. Now, on this one, the first song, which says I Came, was written by a gentleman that used to be, his name is Alan. And he was the music director for Tyler Perry for many years. And he wrote I Came, and he wrote Just For Me. Spanky wrote Daylight, and he also wrote Right There. And the other CDs, the other songs are written by Endurance. We've arranged them like Knock the Devil Out, or the Holy Ghost Punches, we call it. That's our little country song. I wrote that song. And then you have, of course, Chains, of course, was written by Endurance. And the last song on there, which is the Drive song, was written by Spanky Williams.
Wow, that is awesome. And you can tell that Endurance is really growing since the last album. What do you think is the difference between this album and your last album?
Well, the main difference is that we produced the entire album. We went in the studio at KPSU Studios here, and our bass player was John Hemphill and Antoine Woodson, Kenny Greenhouse, Lester Sneed, Marvan Alexander. They are musicians for the group. Our band, they actually went in and did it themselves. We didn't have any help from any outside producer. So that's one thing, because being that sometimes when people write for you, they write for you, but they write for, anybody can get the song and sing it. But these songs were produced, they knew who we were, so the arrangements that maybe they were originally sent to us got adjusted a little bit because they wanted to make the song fit Endurance. So that's the difference. We're not just singing songs, because most of the time, which Spanky would just send us the musical track, and we would just put our vocals on it, just as it is. All right? So we sometimes had to reform to his style and whatever his music was doing, whether it was comfortable for us or not, we had to do it because they were already produced. Well, with this album or this CD, our band went in, all the songs that were already produced and written, they went in and they redid everything themselves to fit us. And so that's the difference in this CD and the other ones.
Awesome. So are y'all going to be ministering anywhere anytime soon?
Well, we were just in the Dallas area this past weekend, and tonight, a matter of fact, the Texas Music Excellence Awards are in town this week. And they'll be here starting tonight all the way through Sunday, so we'll be ministering there tonight or tomorrow. I got to figure out which one we're going to do. But we'll be doing that tonight. And then next weekend, we're doing a program for some youth. There's some young people, and when they call, I always like to go because I want them to know what quartet is. A lot of the young people are not familiar with quartet, So when they call, I try to go, because the whole new audience. And I tell groups all the time, you have to constantly reinvent yourself. Don't think because you've been singing 50 years that you just can sit down and just go sing when you want to. No. You have to continue to reinvent yourself. The audience has changed every week, every month. You got a new audience you got to sing to that don't have a clue who you are, and they have the wrong idea of quartet. We've sang a lot of youth, and they said, we never liked quartet, but y'all don't sound like the groups my dad and them used to listen to. So I said, well, you constantly reinvent yourself. You cannot stay in the 50s. You can still sing, keep the foundation, but you got to do something to the music, something to the style, to the flow of the song to reach everybody. And so that's what we try to do. So this CD was designed not just for, people our age in the 40s and 50s. It's also designed for young people. If they want to hear it, it's got the right little groove to it, especially on that Daylight song. It has a nice little groove. Yeah. But then the older people can look at it and listen to it and say, wow, Daylight. I'm in the dark, but we had Harvey here that really messed up Texas pretty bad, Houston pretty bad. And a lot of the people are still homeless, but they can listen to that song and say, I'm in the dark now. But that song said daylight's coming. So
there you go.
That's kind of how we try.
Amen. That's awesome right there. And that's how I saw it, too. I was like, you hold on to your history, but make sure you stay in time, in the present time. Use your history as your foundation, but stay in time. Glory to God. All right.
Amen.
So tell everybody where they can get your music at and how they can book you.
Sure. Yeah. Well, of course, music, we have a website called Music by Endurance. You can go to musicbyendurance.com and you can get the CD there.
All right.
Go to 281 216-3528, and that you can call that number, and we can, we'll be glad to get back to you. Or you can call Darryl Jones. He's our media person. Our music person, radio person. You can call him at 936-222-4006. And so, you can get, of course, you can go to CD Baby. Everybody go to CD Baby, real right there, cdbaby.com. And you can also get the CD through CD Baby. At any of the internet searches, you can go there and you can get our CD, or you can even purchase, those snippets. They do the 99-cent thing. You can buy one song if you want, because the whole album is finished now. I don't know if you have it yet, but the whole album is finished now. The whole CD is complete.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. And we're going to go ahead and play this song as we get ready to go out. But I thank God for the quartet family who always comes through, Brother Darryl Jones. And I pray that y'all will go out and definitely these great albums, because they are so worth it.
Thank you so much.
So let's go ahead and you are so welcome. Let me go ahead and play this before we go off.
Okay.
Since Jesus came into my life, he brought out the best in me. Since Jesus came to my life, he set my soul free. Saved my soul, and he made me whole, and he gave me victory. Since Jesus came, yes he did, to my life. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Joe Lagarde.